Many people have been sitting at home thinking about where they should spend the winter. They want to go back to a place that they are accustomed to. And for a lot of people, that place, that region is Southeast Asia. However, given the current circumstances, it is definitely everything but easy to travel to Southeast Asia to spend the winter in the tropics. Many people don't want to stay where they're at for obvious reasons. They want to get out of the cold weather. They want to have a little bit of fun in the sun, correct? We're going to have a look at two options, and we are going to compare the options to see which of the two is the most suitable option for you. I know this is a very difficult time. A lot of us are used to spending the winters in Southeast Asia, especially Thailand or Bali. Indonesia come to mind. Many people also love going to the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia. It's very difficult to get into these countries right now because the pandemic, everything that happened, very strict entry requirements are in place. Many countries are not even accepting international tourists at this moment in time. And people are uncertain, right? People don't want to put themselves through the process, not knowing what will happen if and when they arrived in the country. There's this uncertainty that makes people very uncomfortable, and I think a lot of people end up staying where they're at right now, which is probably not where they want to be, but because of comfort, they don't want to go abroad. They don't want to go to Southeast Asia. And I want to have a look here. So we're going to talk about Thailand a little bit, and then we're going to talk about Mexico, and you then can decide for yourself which of the two is the most suitable option. The reason why I chose Thailand is because Thailand is really the only country that's open right now. I mean, open without quarantine to fully vaccinated tourists. I know Bali also opened up. However, you are required to stay 8 days in a government-approved hotel facility, something that not a lot of people are happy with. So we're going to leave Bali, Indonesia off the table, and we're going to focus on Thailand right now. Thailand is a phenomenal country, and I don't want to put a lot of pressure on Thailand here. I don't want to make Thailand look bad, but you know, we have to really take a look at the facts so you can decide for yourself whether you want to take on the journey or not. The requirements for entering Thailand are as follows. If you are entering from one of the countries that Thailand considers as safe, then you are allowed to enter if you follow the following steps. So the first requirement is obviously you gotta be fully vaccinated. If you're not fully vaccinated, you'll still need a quarantine upon arrival in Thailand. If you are vaccinated with one of the approved vaccines, Thailand accepts most of them, and then this is one criteria that you have met. The second criteria that is really important and that you need to meet is to have a negative PCR test within 72 hours of departure. If you've been traveling over the past weeks, months, you are aware of the process. They put it up your nose, not very comfortable, but I guess you can do it once in order to get to Thailand. So maybe not that big of a deal to a lot of people. You also need travel insurance with coverage of $100,000. This may also not be a big deal to a lot of people. A lot of people that travel overseas, they usually have travel insurance anyway. The only contingency here is that the travel insurance must cover COVID hospitalization. So make sure you pay attention to that. While the Thai government advertises this as quarantine-free admission, it really isn't, because you still need to spend at least 1 day at a Thai government-approved hotel facility before you are allowed to move on. And you need to submit proof of payment first. Proof of payment at a government-approved hotel facility, where further tests will be conducted, such as an antigen test and, guess what, another PCR test. When you arrive at the airport, you need to undergo exit screening and download the app. The app is what you use to confirm your COVID status once you arrive at the quarantine hotel, and once all the tests are done, this is what the app is used for. Now, if you take a look at all these requirements, definitely not anywhere near what we used to do before we traveled to Southeast Asia in 2019 and before, but these are the requirements right now, right? These requirements need to be met, so it's really important. It's mandatory that you are fully vaccinated, that you comply with all these entry requirements to have a hassle-free stay. That's what they like to call it. Now, these requirements are probably something that you can put up with. However, if and when you do arrive in Thailand, there's really no guarantee that no further lockdowns will occur. The government does not guarantee that if and when lockdowns happen because of a surge in COVID cases, a surge in hospitalizations and death rates, it doesn't matter what criteria you're looking at. It is important that you really are in the right frame of mind that things can happen at any time when you are in Thailand. This is no guarantee that you follow all these things and you can enter Thailand. Yes, you're going to be able to enter Thailand without quarantine, or at least only one day. However, once you're there, there's still a chance that things turn around. There's still a chance things will change, and if and when they change, they could enforce a new lockdown. They may shut again bars and entertainment and shopping mall and who knows what else. Just get ready for that. I'm not saying it is going to happen, but there is a chance it could happen. And you better be ready to accept the worst, to be not too upset if and when it happens. This is always my attitude. In terms of tourist visas, should you not have applied for a visa before going to Thailand, you just get the 30 days if you are on the list of countries that qualify for that. But you can also apply for the 60 or 90-day tourist visa at the embassy wherever you're located. And this would be a way for you to spend more time in the country, because right now with extensions, it's definitely difficult. I think if you get the 30 days, you probably can extend for another 7 days if and when you are in Thailand. However, if you should get the 60 or 90-day tourist visa right away, you definitely have a lot more breathing room. And I think doing the 60 or 90 days is a lot more convenient to a lot of people, simply because they're used to staying in Southeast Asia for a longer period of time. They typically go in maybe November, December, stay until February, March, until winter is over back home, and then they go back. One of the things you really have to consider before you actually take this journey on is intercontinental travel freedom does not exist in Southeast Asia right now. Unlike in the previous years where you were allowed to go to other countries easily, this may not even be possible this winter. It's possible that some countries will open up, maybe Indonesia. They're going to say, you know what, travelers from Thailand, they are allowed to come to Indonesia, assuming, again, you need to meet all the requirements again, right? So you need to be fully vaccinated, do a PCR test prior to boarding the plane, and possibly spend a couple days in a quarantine hotel approved by the Indonesian government, and then more tests and more compliance. These are things you have to accept if it's even going to be possible. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but there is a slight possibility that intercontinental travel freedom could exist in Southeast Asia, but this is no guarantee. Now that we have talked about the current situation in Thailand, Thailand is a very vibrant country. Okay, it has a lot to offer. And the capital, Bangkok, very vibrant city, very energetic city with tons of entertainment that you can enjoy when you go there. And you also have the islands, the island of Koh Samui, Phuket, and the other islands. You have also Krabi, so it offers a great balance. If you want the metropolitan life in the tropics, even if it's just for a winter gateway, you can definitely have that in Thailand. And you can have the tropical beach lifestyle at the same time. And for those looking for amazing mountain sceneries, you can have that as well. Just take a flight up to Chiang Mai. So I think Thailand is still, it's enticing, It's a great country. It's one of the best countries for retirees, digital nomads, perpetual travelers, you name it. But getting there is not so easy right now. But I think once you got there, and assuming things are okay, things don't change, you're gonna have a great time in Thailand. So I wanna be positive here. I don't wanna be too negative, but for the people that wanna undergo this whole process of getting there, and they know, once I got that done, things will be fine, and I'll have a phenomenal time in Thailand. Then you're gonna have that. Now, let's talk about Mexico, because I wanna compare the two, okay? Now, going to Mexico right now, you don't need to comply with any entry requirements at all. You just need to fill out a health form. That's all the Mexican government asks for at the moment. Meaning, you go there, unvaccinated, fully vaccinated, doesn't matter. The Mexican government does not care about that. Do you need a negative PCR test prior to departure? No, you don't. Do you need to book a quarantine hotel? No, you don't. Do you need to take any tests once you arrive in Mexico? No, you also don't. If you go to Mexico right now, make sure you have a return ticket to get the 180-day tourist visa, because I heard a lot of people are having problems with that right now. Just book a one-way ticket and, there's a chance you're not gonna get the 180-day tourist visa issued. So there's really no entry requirements. You can just go to Mexico, as I said. And like Thailand, Mexico is a very diverse country, right? You have the Caribbean side of Mexico, you have Cancun, you have Playa del Carmen, you have Tulum, the island of Cozumel, right? So you have the tropical beach lifestyle as well. You have beautiful beaches in Playa, Tulum, and also the island of Cozumel. Now it's a little bit touristy maybe, probably going to be packed, but so are beaches in Thailand during winter. However, I think it's very comparable. The entry requirements are much less. And should you want the metropolitan lifestyle, guess what? You can also have that in Mexico. You just go to Mexico City, you go to maybe Querétaro or Guadalajara, so you have plenty of options for this as well. And there's also more ocean cities on the west coast of Mexico. And I think one of the really main differentiating factors here is not only the entry requirements, but what happens once you arrive in the country. Mexico, definitely a place where, not wearing a mask outdoors will cause you any problems. Indoors, really depends. If you go to Walmart, if you go to, any supermarket, you probably need to wear a mask. However, if you go to like a local restaurant, if you just want to have some tacos, they're probably not going to care about that. They're going to be like, not a big deal. Thailand, on the other hand, they have been very strict. They have been very upfront. If you come to Thailand and you don't comply with our mask mandates, you will be fined. Something to consider as well. If wearing a mask is not a problem for you, then, it doesn't really matter, I guess. But for some people, like me personally, it bothers me a lot. I don't want to be anywhere I have to wear a mask outdoors. It's just, especially in the tropics, it's a no-go for me. I'm out. I want to do a few more comparisons here because I think it's really important. Weather-wise, like I said, right, Mexico has the Caribbean side, which definitely is more tropical, hot, humid, just as the weather is in Thailand for pretty much all of Thailand, maybe not the north. But Mexico, if you go to Mexico City or you go to Querétaro, for instance, it's very, very different climate, The winters are cool to mild, so if you want more seasons or if you want more pleasant climate, if you don't want to sweat a lot or if you sweat easily and you want to avoid that, guess what? You can have that in central Mexico. Food-wise, Thailand, spicy food, phenomenal soup dishes, phenomenal outdoor dining experience. The food courts, just brilliant culinary experience that you can enjoy when you go to Thailand, right? The food in Thailand is great and many people say it's one of the best cuisines in the world. Mexico, on the other hand, the food is very rich. It's mainly meat-based, very heavy, but who doesn't like tacos? Who doesn't like burritos? Who doesn't like other traditional Mexican dishes? Mexican and Thai food, they're both operating at a very high level, I think. Time zone-wise, because I know this matters to people, especially the ones working online. If your business is focused on, let's say, the US, Canada, and you want to be as close to the time zone as possible, then guess what? Mexico is probably a better choice than Thailand. However, on the other hand, if time zone is not really a big concern and all you care about is having a great experience, living cheap, then Thailand will do it as well, and that's definitely true. From a visa perspective, Mexico offers a 180-day tourist visa if you're on the list of countries that are allowed to stay for 180 days. Thailand, on the other hand, only gives you a 30-day tourist visa unless you applied for a longer tourist visa prior to coming to Thailand. Now, in order to get the longer visas, the 60-day, the 90-day, I'm not sure if the 6 and 9 month visas are available right now, but let's say you can get it. You need to get this sorted at the embassy in the country of origin prior to coming to Thailand. Obviously, you need to get some paperwork ready. You need to go to the embassy or consulate, pay the fee. So quite a few extra steps involved to make it work. But again, something you can probably justify if and when you go to Thailand, because you're going to have a phenomenal time there, right? So not a big deal. A big differentiating factor for a lot of people is the intercontinental travel freedom that you can enjoy in Latin America, in South America, in the Caribbean, in Central America, right? So Mexico is part of North America, but you can travel pretty much anywhere down south, not needing to comply with a lot of entry requirements. You can go to Colombia, for instance, not needing anything. You can go to Costa Rica with probably just a negative PCR test, nothing else needed. Same if you want to fly to the Dominican Republic, the country located in the Caribbean. Again, very easy. You just go there. Nothing else is needed. So you have this flexibility, right? Which you don't really have in Southeast Asia right now. You go to Thailand, that's probably it. If you want to go to Indonesia, let's say it's possible later on this year, you have to comply. I mean, most probably you have to comply with a bunch of entry requirements, maybe even the same entry requirements that you had to comply when coming to Thailand, right? It's not so convenient, and there's costs involved, a lot of hassle, stress, it's inconvenient, but maybe you want to do it. Maybe spending a month or 2 months or even longer in Indonesia is worth the hassle. Which of the discussed countries would you rather visit? Thailand or Mexico? And where are you located right now? And what is it like living there? Leave a comment below and let us know. Make sure to subscribe and turn on alerts to never miss any of my future videos on digital nomad locations, travel updates, and visas. Before I let you go, I got 2 recommendations for you. 1, I shot a video on the best countries where you can live on as little as $1,000 a month. If you want to watch this video, click on the link right here. 2, I shot another video on open countries. These are places that you can visit without needing to comply with any entry requirements. If you want to watch this video, click on the link right here. Thank you for watching.